Hello everyone, I'm Maxim, and today I'll tell you how I completely changed my life to start the wine revolution. Even working in big corporations, working with different international infrastructure projects, I always devoted a lot of time to learn about new wine techniques, about viticulture. I always thought that there will be some time that I could devote all my life to my passion, and hopefully this time is now. We see all this project as a great challenge of the so-called wine revolution that we are doing from scratch. Indeed, the experience for more than almost 20 years in different corporations hasn't been in vain. And we are using our business approach and our experience in developing our project. And for example, it has left its mark on how we make the decisions. And for example, even choosing the market region for our project was a pragmatic decision, because Marki is the birthplace of one of the best white grape varieties for making classic sparkling wines. It's Verdicchio. And actually, we realized that Italy might be renowned for not only for making classic sparkling wines from Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, the classic champagne blends, but it should be renowned for its autochthonous grape varieties. So we see the great potential here, and we see how this might work. Having a great experience in tasting classic sparkling wines from around the world, it creates kind of basis, fundamental things to understand what is good and what is bad, and to see the potential, because the world of the sparkling wine is really diverse and enormous. We see that the Italian wine market is quite mature, so it's quite developed in terms of the classic sparkling wine. But at the same time, we see that while being developed for more than 50 years, it achieved great results. But at the same time, the path that has been chosen to develop this market was to follow the example of champagne. So actually, even the grape varieties that were chosen for that are the classic champagne blend varieties. It definitely gave you some kind of push for development of the market, but the downside of this is that you lose the identity. So there will always be a situation that there is champagne and there is some sparkling wine that is not champagne. And in this battle, that is not champagne, something that is not champagne will always lose out. And another problem that actually is not unique in Italy, and it's all the same around the world, that the sparkling wine, classic sparkling wine market is quite oligopolistic. So we have a few brands that dominate the market. They have the biggest market share, and at the same time we have small winemakers with a higher quality of the product, but at the same time they couldn't sell their product, because for selling sparkling wine, it's a much more difficult, complex task. It's quite different from selling the still wines, because for that you need a brand, strong brand. You need a big marketing budget for promoting your sparkling wine, and definitely the small winemakers couldn't afford doing this kind of activity. Otherwise, they would lose their high-quality product. These small winemakers, the product of these small winemakers are difficult to find, not only in the supermarkets. It's even difficult to find in online stores. So this is the problem of the domination of the mass brands. So we started with a quite traditional business, just making and producing traditional sparkling wine, but then diving deeper into the wine community and getting to know with different talented winemakers, and exploring autochthonous grape varieties, we were surprised by its diversity, by its quality, and we saw the opportunity here to create something new and unique. And for example, in Italy there are more than 2,000 autochthonous grape varieties, and yet only 400 of them are in commercial production. And however, even from these 400 grape varieties, most of them are unknown beyond the region or even beyond the municipality. So on the one hand, we have a big amount of quality, talented winemakers with small quantities of wines that those are struggle to make their ends meet and can find it in the market to find for their 2,000 bottles. But on the other hand, we have big mass production brands that sell hundreds, thousands of bottles with the inferior quality of wine, but even at the higher price. So, and this unfair situation, this is precisely the area that we could use our business approach to bring a solution, as for the winemaker and for the client, for a consumer. And this will help to connect the consumer with the winemaker directly. The goal of the Anticelebration is to make this new experience as accessible as possible, and as it's used to say now, just a click away. From a product perspective, we selected a path that dedicates one collection to each region of Italy. So we started with Marca region, and we launched the next collection in Piedmont, and our next collection will be dedicated to Umbria. And definitely we have a specific set of criteria how we select our cuvées. And we taste the base wine, we understand its potential, and we do it before adding a final liqueur d'expédition, that is the final stage of the production of the classic sparkling wines. And this allows us to understand the potential of the wine, the level and the balance of acidity, the potential for aging, and the initial organoleptic characteristics that might be changed by the final liqueur. So, and another really important point that we choose the wines for our cuvées so only that are aged on the lees more than 36 months. But unfortunately, we meet a lot of winemakers who don't wait this time and sell their wines before 36 months. And actually, we should support the winemakers who are doing their best to age their wines more than 36 months. And we in Anticelebration believe that it discovers and it uncovers the potential of the classic sparkling wine at its best. To be sure that Anticelebration has the best value for money, first of all, I suggest not to trust us or anyone else. We suggest you to trust yourself and try and taste our cuvées, and because we are quite confident that we have the really high quality of our cuvée, each one that was selected after the hundreds of tastings and selecting different winemakers, different vintages. But only after trying it by yourself, you will form your own opinion. Even the professional sommeliers and winemakers, wine critics have their own knowledge and their own experience, and it's quite subjective, and it's fine because the world of the wine world is really diverse, and there is no single opinion that is true for all the wines. the practice of having blends from different vintages isn't established in Italy. And this is not always about the habit. It's about the history of the winemaking production. Actually, historically, reserve wines were used to balance out new wines if the harvest was bad or we had some poor grape quality and so on and so on. But then, with the evolution of the winemaking practice, people understood that the quality of the wines is increasing if we use blends from different harvests, from different vintages, and it gives you the different notes, more complex one in your wines. So actually, this is there is some kind of saying that are used by the winemakers that 1 plus 1 equals 3 if the blend is made by a quality thing, and this is what we are always supporting the winemakers to do, to use some part of the wines to have kind of reserve, and to use it not only for in the case if the harvest is bad, but also for balancing the next wines for the next harvest. A matter of having wine ratings and reviews. And if you have 50,000 bottles, it's quite easy for you to send the bottles to some wine rating and to pay for that, and because you have these 50,000 bottles to sell, and it might be a good thing to do. But if you have 2,000 bottles, you should send some bottles out of these 2,000 bottles. You should pay some extra fee for participating in this wine rating and this evaluation, and moreover, you should have some excise duties paid to get these wines delivered to the US, to the UK, or any other countries. So if you have 2,000 bottles, the economics of participating in wine ratings wouldn't work out. Our idea stemmed from the concepts and from the respect to the work of the winemakers, and understanding that it's not quite a good thing to break the bottles and splash all the wine in the parties. And for example, every year thousands of bottles are broken during the parties, during the celebrations, on the podiums, the racers are celebrating their victories. And however, we also understand that there is an element of fun in this, and the people would miss it if we just eliminate this part of fun. So we created a substitute product for these kind of parties. We created a highly carbonated water that we put in the bottle of sparkling wine, and we call it water spray celebration. And you can splash this water spray celebration in the podiums, during the parties, whatever you want. And the best thing to do at this moment is to celebrate splash the celebration bottles and drink Anticelebration wine. Actually, we try to use sustainable ways to collect the water and to use it in our celebration bottles. And in this way, we don't waste the water. We just collect from sustainable things like collecting the rainwater or other sources and using in our celebration bottles. And it gives us a more sustainable approach for having these type of parties. It was a quite difficult story. We struggled a lot to achieve the same effect and effect of spraying the celebration bottle as the champagne bottles or our sparkling wine bottles do. and they took a lot of time. And actually, to produce a celebration bottle, we use a historical method from middle 20th century to carbonate wines. We were working together with our equipment supplier, and we achieved the result that we could put the pressure inside the bottle with the water up to 6 bar. That is the average pressure in the champagne bottle. So we are quite satisfied with the result of having this kind of pressure in our celebration bottles. We respect the victories of the racers, so we created for them a solution that might look good, that might look really very pretty to hold this bottle in the hand, and that is the reason that. This is the solution that looks good to have a celebration, but to drink, use wine. We believe that more winemakers should join Anticelebration, and well, firstly because this project Anticelebration is the first of its kind. And no one has attempted to unite winemakers in this kind of way, and actually highlighting the name of the winemaker and make people know his work and his product. And secondly, our mission and our values are much more the same with the winemakers. So we are really glad and positively surprised, and we meet winemakers. Firstly, almost all of them agree immediately to participate in our project, because it's all about increasing the value of the territory. It's all about increasing the value of the autochthonous grape variety of their work, and make it more understandable for the consumers. I would recommend buying Anticelebration wines in collections. So one collection is devoted to market, so you discover the potential and the identity of the market region by tasting all the wines from the market. So you could taste it with friends and discuss the different terroirs, different aging, duration, and even the age of the vines that makes the difference for the wine production. So, and after that, you can choose your favorite cuvée and buy it for your wine cellar and keep it for some years to watch its evolution. So I suggest you to trust yourself and to choose your different cuvée.